plenty of comments. A lot of people have been talking about our transfer target tier list, which we'll get into. Isaac Kim says, hear me out. I don't think De Zerbi really wants to use the likes of Paulinho, Basuma, or even Gallagher. He used them based on the situation the club is in. With pre-season ahead, he can truly implement what he wants the player to play. So I believe the likes of Graham Bergvall will have a great chance to impress him further. Let's trust De Zerbi on this. So he thinks that with the relegation battle, he just got all the experience he needed in the team, but next season it might be different.
I think there's validity to some parts of what he's saying. I do believe that that's why Bergvall and Gray didn't play too much in the run-in, because he did want the experience. And I do think Gray and Bergvall probably do have a good shout to play significant game time in the season next year with a whole pre-season under De Zerbi. The one I just disagree with is Paulinho. Like, he's adamant in terms of Paulinho in everything he's saying, that he's saying 100% I want him to sign, 100% I want him to sign. So I don't think he says that if he doesn't want to use him next season.
I'm not saying he doesn't want to use him, but he also didn't start him in the first 3 games he had him.
Yeah.
So there is truth that he didn't necessarily want to start him, and he was kind of forced to, because Basuma wasn't maybe quite cutting it, and he scored the goal, and he came in and obviously did very well.
Yeah.
So I do think there's truth to the fact that I don't think in a perfect world he would start Paulinho like most games.
Well, he didn't start him for the first 2 games, wasn't it?
3.
Was it 3?
Sunderland,
Brighton and Wolves. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. But the thing is, he's said 100% I want to sign him multiple times. Like, it's not like just a throwaway comment. Like, he is adamant about it.
It's true.
So
I'm not saying he doesn't want him around. I'm just saying maybe he doesn't want to use him as much as he did.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that. I mean, I'm not fussed about if Paulinho plays every game or not. Like, I don't think he should play every game if we re-sign him. But I just think he's a good character to have around, and I think De Zerbi probably feels the same way.
Well, Des Bolt says, I don't understand the Paulinho signing. Congrats, you saved us from relegation. You and your teammates got us there in the first place. To be a decent team, you need quality. It's just like PSG bidding off Ugarte, who was very good for Sporting. Bayern under Kompany are going toe-to-toe with PSG with quality players, and we sign their leftovers, who Kompany deemed not good enough in possession football. This club will keep making the wrong decision at every turn. Focus on the quality of player over everything else, and we'll be a decent club. But sign all the bargain buyers and easy deals to do like Gallagher and Paulinho. We'll finish 17th again, and more excuses will roll out.
I am open to the prospect of Gallagher leaving Tottenham. I don't know really what he brings to the team, to be honest. I know he works very hard, but I don't think he's a good presser. But apart from that, what is he very good at? I'm not so sure. I am open at the prospect of letting him go, because look, we've spoken about it here many times. We do need to make some decisions on some midfielders. So I'll be open about Conor Gallagher. But I just think Paulinho, in what he does good, he's like some of the best in the league of what he actually does. So have those attributes in the squad, not starting every game, just have those attributes in the squad, I think is great for us. I think it can be so valuable.
Yeah, I just think, we've had this conversation, but I think just how clogged up our midfield is. We're already overstocked. We're adding Paulinho in there. I don't know how we're going to fit even more in. That's just a problem I have. But if we can fit them all in, I don't mind Paulinho staying, but it just feels weird to be signing a player who we know we don't really want to start when we need starters in that midfield. Alex Andrew says, let me get this straight. We're going back to snatch Gibbs White after the Greek mob boss laughed at us and the transfer fell through. Savinho failed to break into the City team, barely any goals, overhyped to shreds, and we are somewhat going to revive this lad's career and he's going to become a Ballon d'Or winner. Savinho is a Taylor or Odebear 2.0 regen. Is it that hard for us to have decent scouting and stop looking at the same putrid players we did 5 seasons ago? I already feel for De Zerbi, man.
Yeah, well.
I mean, you're talking about Gibbs, White and Savinho. I mean, I don't think they're terrible targets. I really don't.
I mean, Gibbs White's a proven player. Savinho's not really that proven just yet. I get where he's coming from, but he's put it in a lot more harsher terms than maybe I would have put it.
Also, Savinho is. I don't tell an Odebear haven't had a season like Savinho had in Spain.
No, he hasn't. No, they haven't.
So already, I think he's proven to right now be better. And I think, look, as I said, in the Premier League, I think he has shown he can play in this league. I know he's maybe not had as many goals and assists as we would like, but you watch him. I don't think he's, as a player, you've seen he's like really struggling in this league when you watch him. I don't see that.
I think you see spits and spurts. I don't think you've seen him ever like consistently do well in the Premier League. I think sometimes he looks, pretty poor. Sometimes he looks decent.
I think most games I watch him, he's a bright spark. He's a bright spark. I think very few times I watch him and the fullback just has him on lock. I don't see that. I see him every time giving the fullback trouble.
What I would say about Savinho is when I see him, he does give his fullback problems, but I feel like his end product can be really wasteful and poor.
Yeah, but he's 22. I think he can improve that. Salah at 22 had an awful end product. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And look what he became. Just saying. Lava Birds Farm says, "Fam, you are reading too deep in the headlines that he's our only target. I assure you, the window has just opened. This is a good start because we need someone on the left. They should send Tell on loan, try get Leao, and that is two good wingers. Savinho will be a fantastic player, but he just couldn't get in the City team, but he'll grow. I like this deal."
I wasn't saying that he was our only winger target. I was saying he's our number one target, which means you go in
top target.
Top target, I mean. And that means you go into a window with a list of targets and he is the number one priority for you going into the window. And I don't think he should be the number one priority. I don't mind signing him first. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying he shouldn't be the be-all and end-all for the window. He's a very good player and he can be... Well, he's a good player and he can be very good in the future, but we need someone right now who should be the be-all and end-all, that should be better than Savinho. Like we've both discussed, you want to sign Savinho plus one that's better than him. We're not going to sign one that's better than him if he is our top target.
So I disagree with that. I think you're reading too much into that term, top target. I think what he's saying, when he's our top priority target right now, I think what they're saying is basically we're looking to sign players during this window, but you can't sign all players at every single moment. Right now, he's our top target because he's gettable at this moment and he's on our list. So let's get him in. We're prioritising him at this moment because we can get him in right now. Might not be the same for all. We might have wingers right on our list who are better than him, or might be we want more than him. Let's say. But we can't get them right this second because there might be a World Cup or they might be waiting for different situations or whatever. So right now Savinho's there, so we're prioritising getting him in because we can get him in and we want him. So that's what I read. That's how I read that.
I don't think that's what top target means. That's not what top target means. Just because you bring him in first and you get him in before other targets, you can get a target in later on in the window, but he's the one that you really wanted. He's the one that you're chasing all summer. He is the top target. Just because we're bringing Savinho in first, So, look, if he is our top target, which he might be, he might not be. If I'm reading into it, who knows? We'll see later on down the line. But, the way that Spurs run their transfer business, I wouldn't be surprised if he is the one that we've looked at being our top target going into the window. Would you be surprised?
No.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I'm just saying I don't think necessarily just because they're saying that right now when the window's not even opened yet doesn't mean he's going to be the best winger we sign necessarily, or even the best sort of tackle we sign.
I think he will be the best winger we sign, though.
Then that would be a problem.
Like, can you see us signing a better winger than him?
Can I see us signing a better winger than him? Don't know. Probably not.
Exactly. That's my issue with it.
Right, but only because who could we get who's better than him?
I don't know off the top of my head, but that's their job to figure out. They're the scouting team. Lange is the sporting director.
If there's someone better we can get, I think they can get him. I just don't know if we can get who's better than him. Maybe in Dye, you're thinking, who's apparently going to want to leave Everton. I think they can get him. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for him and we get him. So, yeah, maybe he won't be the best winger we get.
I think he will be. Let's hope I'm wrong.
A-Lot says, we have to start putting faith in players and stop ignoring them because of their age, or we'll lose them. Get rid of Romero, we have Vuskovic. Sell one of Richie or Solanke, bring in Lancashire. Release Basuma, sell Sarr, bring them through Alfie Devine. Kolo Muane has effed off, bring through Mikey Moore and Williams Barnett. This is how you create a team of players who care about the club and aren't just mercenaries looking for the biggest possible paycheck. I mean, I think you can do that on one or two occasions. I don't know if you can do it for everyone, because then you just have a team of youth players and then you're in a bit of trouble. But I wouldn't mind, bring in a Lancashire maybe as one of the strikers. Bring in Vuskovic. But I think when you're talking about bringing also Devine and also bringing Williams Barnett, I'm like, let's just calm down a bit. Maybe.
Williams Barnett's like 16, 17 years old. Like, let the guy develop a little bit.
They all need to develop, exactly.
Like, you don't need to be in such a rush to bring these guys in. They're all so young.
But I do think in a perfect world, you look at Barca, they just have the best model, like bringing in these unbelievable youngsters, and then all of them go on to be worth unbelievable amounts of money. And I think that's kind of the dream. That's kind of like, where you want your academy to be, just a conveyor belt of talent which you have a pathway to. But they give their players chances. But then again, you would argue, but they're good enough. They're good enough to play for Barca, which means that they're good enough to give the opportunities to, and we need to get our youngsters those opportunities. But I guess we won't know if they're good enough until they get the opportunities. It's just, But I
agree with you. You can't give them all the opportunity at the same time. We can't just stack a squad full of academy players.
Not the same. You've got to bed them in, each one by one kind of thing. And when there are opportunities and you think this guy's good enough, put them in. But you can't just shove a whole 10 teenagers in and expect it to work.
Exactly.
The Watcher on Who says, Savinho is someone Spurs have been invested in for more than a year. He isn't in the Brazil squad for the World Cup, so it makes sense to get the deal done now. We might have other targets who are currently away on international duty and are unavailable to do a deal for at this time. We might still screw up this transfer window, but better to assess and criticise once the window is done. Yeah,
it's true. I've always said that. Let's wait until the window's finished and we'll assess it then. But every time I say that, and then I have massive complaints at the end of the window. But look, I've said it many times. I don't mind bringing in Savinho right now. I don't mind that at all. Just they need to bring in someone better than him alongside him as well. It can't just be him and someone worse.
Neil Nan Canada says Savinho is a good player, but we already have a lot of young talented players like Xavi, Odobert and Mikey Moore. There is no sense in paying a huge sum for Savinho. I mean, two of those players you mentioned have ACLs, so I think just on the back of that, we probably could do with someone.
We need not just someone, we need multiple.
Yeah. But the McLaughlin crew says, Savinho is a risk, but end of the day, we finished 17th 2 years ago, and 2 years in a row. The no-risk top players aren't going to join Tottenham.
Yeah, it's probably right. Probably right. I need to figure out in my head or put down on a piece of paper who are these players that we could even bring in.
Yeah,
but I still think players would come to us. Like good players would still come to us.
Yeah.
With Tottenham Hotspur at the end of the day.
And I think Savinho is a good player.
Yeah, but I'm talking about better players than Savinho.
Yeah, but you're saying I think good players can't. I think we are attracting a good player in Savinho. That's my point. But you're saying world-class players?
I don't think we can attract world-class players, but I think we can attract the level below world-class. I don't think Savinho's the level below world-class just yet.
Yeah, that's fine. That's true. Broadbean says, Rashford, unreal. You two boys need to take up knitting. He's a money chaser at his home club, sulks and is a problem in the dressing room, so he gets shipped out because the club knows he's a problem. If he's a problem, if talented, and he demands 300 plus K a week. So he goes to Barca and declares his love, blah, 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 and then can't be bothered turning out week after week. So now they don't want him even for 26 million. He's trash, like Tony, only concerned about money. And once you've got him on a 5-year deal and they don't bother, you still owe them £60 million.
I think it's harsh to put Tony and Rashford in the same camp in that sense. Tony was brilliant for Brentford right up until the end, wasn't he?
Yeah, obviously you had the ban, but apart from that,
Yeah, but I mean, he never didn't turn up for Brentford when he was on the pitch. Rashford was very inconsistent for Manchester United. So, yeah, two different kettle of fishes there. But, yeah, look, I do see where he's coming from with Rashford. But I just can't... I think he's got the quality that we're desperate for.
Tuchel trusts him. You know, Tuchel's put him in the World Cup and he's going to start him probably on the left wing. Like, I don't think Tuchel would want someone with a bad attitude or who's a problem coming in just because he thinks he's talented. I think Tuchel's the kind of guy who would weed out those problems very quickly. And there's a reason why he put him straight back in, because he's got a very unique ability of unbelievable pace but incredible shooting ability. Like, he's not like the best dribbler, but he's the guy we were talking about before, that running behind guy. He would be perfect for that. That's what you want with Rashford.
That's why you saw Rashford, whenever they played against Liverpool or Man City, he'd always come alive.
Yeah, so, look, things have gone wrong for him for whatever reason. He maybe needed to get out of Manchester. I think that there was a lot of pressure on him, but he had this back injury and, you know, he was a lot of pressure to keep playing, and he was playing through it, and that kind of led to some poor form, and then that led to even more pressure and a lot of kind of criticism, and it led to him spiraling out a bit. And there were days he went to clubbing the day of training and stuff like that. So he definitely was going through problems. But when I watched him at Villa, I know he didn't have the best scoring record, but I thought he played well for a lot of the time there. And when I watched him at Barca...
I thought he was up and down at Villa, to be honest.
I mean, I watched him, I thought he played well. And again, he didn't score the most amount of goals, but when you watched him play, I thought he played quite well a lot of the time. And then you watched him at Barca, and he had a pretty decent season.
He's been better at Barca than he was at Villa.
Yeah, he was only at Villa for 6 months, but I thought he did all right at Villa.
I think Villa, when I was watching him in the Premier League, I wasn't that impressed, to be honest. In the Champions League, I was impressed.
I think also in the Premier had some good games.
Some good games, yeah, but not enough.
Yeah, but he was fine. I thought he was quite good at Villa. Like I don't think he was bad. I think if you ask Villa fans, they probably wanted him permanently, but it didn't happen. But probably because of the wages. But I think if there's an opportunity to bring him in, I would be open to it. But I think the point you made before, if he doesn't want to be here, there's no point having someone with that kind of attitude as well. So
exactly,
that's a good point. Stacey Bennett says Lacroix from Palace is just as good as Van Hecke, and I think we could tempt him.
Did Lacroix partner Van der Ven at Wolfsburg?
He did.
Run it back?
Run it back. Run it back. Obviously, he has been playing in a back three, but I don't see why Lacroix couldn't play in a back two. He's got unbelievable physical qualities. I don't think he's quite as good playing out the back as Van Hecke, but I don't think he's bad either. He's just not quite. I think Van Hecke's like a brilliant passer, whereas Lacroix is like a decent passer.
I remember when we signed Van der Ven, and we were just like, why don't we go get Lacroix?
Why don't we?
But he is a brilliant centre.
He's basically Saliba light. I would say Lacroix is maybe too similar to Van der Ven in a way. They kind of fulfill similar roles.
They played together in a defence at Wolfsburg.
Yeah.
And they both played very well there.
Yeah, but that's Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg? Yeah. Better than us right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, doesn't mean just because they formed a partnership doesn't mean it was the perfect partnership. You know what I mean? I think partnering Van der Ven with someone a bit more aggressive, a bit more front-footed, I think, and a bit better on the ball. I think both of them are kind of similar level on the ball. Not bad, but they kind of both play a bit too safe. They don't play those line-breaking passes that Romero plays, Senesi, Van Hecke. So I think that's maybe a caveat, but maybe you put him in a different system because he has been playing quite, a pragmatic system, hasn't he, Lacroix? Yeah. So maybe he can be a different player. He's obviously a brilliant defender. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bad defender or would be a bad signing. I think in a perfect world would rather someone who we know has got a bit better passing ability. But I think it would make us very hard, score against. He is, as I said, he's that Saliba light. But Saliba works so well because he's got that aggressive Gabriel next to him. So that's part of it. Alexander Harding says, my wife is a Roma fan, so we watch all their games. Kone is one of those strong, dribbly centre mids who's very good on the ball. He has great power, close control, and progresses the ball up the pitch very well, but doesn't contribute too much in the way of goals and assists.
So basically, it sounds like what we were hoping Basuma to be.
Yeah, Does.
Basically.
A good Basuma. Sounds good to me. I mean, a lot of people wax lyrical about him. How's he off the ball? You mentioned all the good stuff on the ball. Does he cover lots of ground? Does he is he defensively disciplined? All that kind of stuff. Those are obviously question marks. Kid Medley says, I'm Italian. What the F do you mean Locatelli unreal signing? What's the hype around this mid player? LOL. Have you watched one Juve game ever? Not a fan of Locatelli.
You know, I was watching Locatelli in the Champions League against Galatasaray. I thought he was absolutely phenomenal in that game. And as soon as he came off, they fell apart, didn't they? They absolutely fell apart. I think Locatelli, I would say with Locatelli, as much as, you know, he's got the on-the-ball attributes that we want, does he have the off-the-ball physicality traits and speed? I think he's very slow, extremely slow.
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest question mark about him. Physically in the Premier League, like on the ball, phenomenal. Like his passing ability is fantastic, but does he have the physicality for the Premier League? That's the question, I guess. But I think you can make it work. You look at someone like, let's say, Pascal Gross. Like physically, he's not great, but he just makes it work, doesn't he? Because they cover his weaknesses with runners or whatever. You look at Yuri Tielemans. People say he's one of the best players in the league. But physically, he's not like amazing, but his on-the-ball ability makes up for it. So you can do it. You can make it work. But there is a question mark there. That is true. And maybe if you watch Juve, he gets found out a bit with it. I don't know. But I think De Zerbi had him at Sassuolo. Mm-hmm. I think he knows how De Zerbi wants to play.
Yeah, it was a much younger Locatelli though, wasn't it?
It was, but he's only 28. He's not exactly old. He knows how. I think De Zerbi would love him through the door. And I think he obviously provides something we just don't have. And I think when it comes to passes, he'd be one of the best passers in the league.
Yeah, 100%.
And Nigel Gates says, if Spurs had any vision, they'd go for Lee Kang-in. The South Korean at PSG played 27 games last year, 18 starts, would challenge Kudus as the starting winger. Wharton came from the Championship. He didn't do too bad. Rashford said he doesn't want to come to Spurs. But in terms of Lee Kang-in, I mean, we've always been saying get him in.
I have been waxing lyrical about Lee Kang-in for years now. I said last summer that we should have brought him in. I said in January. I literally say every transfer window, bring in Lee Kang-in. And I'll keep saying it. I think the guy's quality.
And he can play in the number 10 position, play off the right. It's someone we could do with right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
I've never been that impressed with him on the right, to be honest.
No, but you can fill in there, you know, if you need him to.
I think in the 10, he's brilliant. He's got such an eye for a pass. He's got a great shot on him. Very creative. I think he'd be great. So, look, there are question marks. Maybe he's obviously very small, but I think he's got the...
He's a bit of a pit bull, I think.
Yeah, I think he's got the technical ability to get around that, though, as well.
I don't think he's weak. He's a bit of a pit bull. Like, he can like, shove players off, obviously. Look, he's not the strongest player, obviously, but I don't think he's like a weak player. I don't think physically would be a massive problem.
Yeah, you're probably right. But yeah, those are your comments for today. Keep them coming. We'll keep reacting. And one last little plug.